95 feels like 104 is what my wife just said.
Fun.
Here.
It's tasty weather.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't update the stream, did I? Oh, no, I did. I lucked out. Josh must have done it for me. All right. I think we're live. There we are. Let's confirm this and just make sure.
Looks like we're good.
Okay.
I'm getting an ad for us right now. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. We see our pretty faces, but we're going to go. We're going to hit the tweet. We are going to put this in chat and take her away, Chris. It's Saturday, baby. We're back.
It is Saturday. High energy show here to start. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Awesemo.com live before lock show. We're taking you through the day's 10-game MLB main slate, all the important news you need to know, all the lineup things that we're doing as we go. We'll walk you through it all. I'm Chris Spags, joined by my pal, my Saturday buddy, my weekend buddy. You get custody of me on Saturdays, Emax. It's your old pal, Emax. How are you doing?
Well, I was out walking about an hour ago, which was stupid, but since I'm, no longer able to play basketball or run in any format, I do a lot of walking, listen to podcasts, etc. I saw a Mountain Dew, what is it called? Taco Bell delivery car. The hell? People are going to order it. Like, the closest one to us is like 6-7 miles away. What are they thinking?
I do that here in LA. I mean, I have a car, but sometimes, especially with Taco Bell, you might be under the influence of other things and you don't want to go out there and hit the roads. And yeah, all the fast food places are moving to delivery because there's a lot of delivery business, but less fast food business these days.
Yes, that's funny. Chat's giving me grief.
Welcome to 2019, Emac.
Yeah, yes, I am. I'm technically 5'9". I'm 5'8 3/4. I'll round up to 5'9". I did play basketball, only 1 year organized, but a lot of gym hoops or pickup basketball. It was a lot of fun. Played in high school and college. Just for fun. But yes, I was very, very fast, which was helpful, and I didn't mind passing the ball. So people liked me on their team. So there we go.
Hey, I'm sure you seem like you got a sweet jumper, and I bet you're a willing passer too, which a lot of people out there are not in pickup games.
Yeah, I did okay. I would take my spots when I was open. I never really needed to force it. But yeah, it was always a lot of fun. Plus, you get in shape doing that and having a good time. And the fraternity I was in, we had a full court in the back, and it was probably like 2/3 size. So it was a little narrower, but it was relatively long. So you could get little fast breaks going and stuff. But we would play 4-on-4. Was about the size of it there. So it was a lot of fun. So we'd play all the time. Except in Seattle, rains a lot. So you had to take your opportunities when they came.
Well, for the Awesemo Company retreat, I'm sure we'll all play a big pickup game, and you'll be in the post passing out of there like a young Bill Walton. That's what I'm imagining.
I will be announcing from the sideline. I've retired from the round ball. But
I bet it would get overly competitive too fast. You're not that guy anymore. You're too kind for that. You wouldn't be throwing elbows in there on the inside.
Yeah. Tom's very, very tall. People don't realize that.
People don't. Tom does hide his height from the public and his persona. He likes to hide in the shadows, doing his magic every single day. And of course, if you want to do some of our Tom JK321 or our Awesemo or our 1-800-EDDIE or any of our staff, we all use the same material here at Awesemo.com. Use that promo code live before lock. Get the projections, the ownership projections, all the things that you need. They're the top stacks tool, a million different things that'll help you make better MLB DFS lineups. Just go right now. Use that promo code live before lock to get half off your first month of Awesemo Plus. And speaking of ownership, well, I guess because it's no deep dive day today, let's go through game by game, Emac. And up front, let's go with the game that's going to have the highest ownership, but also the best chance of being the top stack is going to go to Boston today. You're getting 7.3 implied runs for them, which is a high by a pretty decent margin on today's slate. They're in Baltimore, as Emac mentioned. It's hot all across the East Coast right now. Pretty much sweltering temperatures in every game we're going to go to. Baltimore already a great hitting park, now a smoking hot hitting park in the mid-90s. Tom Eshelman, the pitcher for Baltimore, who has shown very little. He's limited his walks and hits overall, just a 1.2 whip on the year. But it seems like signs of things that are worse to come with just a 16% strikeout rate, just a 6% swinging strike rate, not anything great there. What are you doing with Boston today, Emac? Because they are going to be the chalk by far, but still have a better chance of being a top stack than their ownership.
Yeah, I like them a ton. They made the spotlight hitters and stacks as the featured play. You can't just overlook the weather, the pitcher. Ashwin, not the greatest strikeout track record. He is been in AA and AAA this year. That he's basically starting for the Orioles because they literally have nobody else. But tomorrow, revenge, Andrew Kastner coming back. But it's not really revenge. It's a thank you game. Thank you for putting me on a playoff contender. But just we're not even going to mention Eichelman. He's horrible. So here's who we're going to play. Literally, Adam and I talked about it. It's actually the same projected lineup that we thought. That's the confirmed lineup, except Michael Holt is batting last, and we didn't know who the catcher was going to be. It's Christian Vasquez who is batting sixth. He's $20 on Yahoo, but it's one hell of a contrarian move there. He's like having another first baseman. You literally can play everybody in this lineup. There's plenty of opportunities to mix and match. Yes, they will be one of the more popular plays on the day for very good reason. I mean, I'm not saying it's hot here, Chris, but this afternoon I looked out in my backyard. I watched two hobbits walk out of the woods and throw a ring in it. It's crazy.
Oh boy. Open mic night here on the Awesemo YouTube.
But
No, yeah, it is hot everywhere in this game in particular. I mean, it would have been a great game even if it were like 80 degrees out there. Instead, it's in the mid 90s, almost high 90s. So yeah, really no reason to avoid that. I think we're all on board here. Play a lot of Boston. The chalkiest Boston here is it looks like we're going to be JD Martinez and Mookie Betts, as is usually the case. So if you want to go to a guy like Michael Chavis, who has a lot of power down in the bottom of the order, that could be a pivot to make to get lower ownership. Christian Vasquez as well, even though he's filling that catcher spot, still under 10% projected ownership on DraftKings. So those are the guys to go to if you're trying to differentiate. Leave Betts out of a lineup, leave Martinez out of a lineup. Go to one of those two, and you'll differentiate a little bit if you are full stacking. The Baltimore Emac, they blew up David Price yesterday. Kind of a surprise, given that matchup looked like it would favor Price. And I guess the heat was enough there, and Price gives up enough contact. Porcello giving up a ton of contact. And Baltimore, I mean, not a great hitting team, but Porcello can give it up. Are you going with any Baltimore or, I guess, Rick Porcello here?
I did a little Baltimore mini stack on the Yahoo all day because I thought it'd be a little bit contrarian. So I've got Chance, Cisco, and Trey Mancini were the two guys. So I hate saying mini stack. I've got a pair just because I figured they'd be adjacent in the lineup, and they're the two best hitters going against pitcher Rick Porcello, who struggling. Now remember, one of those games in his recent form was that 1/3 of an inning in London, where they were playing in London Stadium, and that was kind of a mess. But his last two starts have been horrible, and that was against Detroit and Toronto. So I want no part of Porcello today, no part of Eichelman. I'm okay with a bit of just going for some. So here's the guys I would play. Top five. Santander got a home run last night, but there's no guarantee that happens. Chris Davis is just a mess. Rio Ruiz, he had some moments, especially when they had him batting in the middle of the order. He's fallen off. Richie Martin is your 2K punt special. Why? We're not really going to spend on pitching. We got a couple cheap pitchers that we're going to talk about that will get us any of the hitters we need. And then we've got a couple of smendy pitchers. So for me, this is bats only in this game. But I do want to reiterate, Boston, phenomenal. Top five, Baltimore, okay.
Yep, I would agree there. And I didn't get much Baltimore either, but the ownership so far, it looks like with our projections at Awesemo.com, going to VR, going to Cisco a little bit, everybody else here not very owned. So if you want to go with a Boston or a Baltimore stack going against Porcello, it's not a bad move given that he has a 5.3 xFIP on the year. Also not striking guys out, just an 18% K rate. So Baltimore viable and a 5.2 implied total is not bad for them, but didn't see the reason to go there too much. Some other stacks I like more, and I'm with you on Boston. I have a ton of Boston today. They're chalk, but there are other ways to differentiate, hopefully, along the way. Let's go on to the next game at Pittsburgh, the Battle of Pennsylvania. Philadelphia going in versus Pittsburgh. Bit of a low-scoring game yesterday. A lot of good contact made, which is frustrating because I love Pittsburgh and in general as a concept. They're always under-owned. They have guys who hit the ball well. Not a ton of power, but guys just make good contact over and over again. That game didn't quite get there, but it could be a spot here. Zach Eflin getting blown up a lot by lefties, getting a lefty-heavy Pittsburgh lineup. Philadelphia on the other side, Joe Musgrove going to have ownership, and I guess leveraging against Joe Musgrove would be a move, but the ownership isn't there. I don't have any Philly. I have a little bit of Musgrove. I have a little bit of Pittsburgh, but that's it for me in this game, Emac. What are you doing?
Let me get over to my sheets here. I have not done my official crunches, but in playing around, I will have a fair amount of Musgrove tonight. For me, it's just purely a pricing play on DraftKings and FanDuel, and Yahoo. He's 29 on Yahoo. He's 58 on DraftKings. That's going to allow for a lot of flexibility. Tonight, if you're not going to go with Kershaw or Castillo, you're trying to find guys that you're going to mix and match, and you hope that you get two pitchers that don't get blown up. So there is risk with Musgrove. It's very hot there in Pittsburgh, but I'm willing to go against the Philadelphia Phillies for this price point. And that's a key thing, and that's the only reason we're playing him is the price point. On the other side, I'm not going to get Eflin. I'll probably have him set at maybe 5 or 10%. If that, I do like the lefties for Pittsburgh. And we know that they're concentrated with Bell, Moran, and Dickerson. All three of them are together. They're all adjacent. That makes for nice plays. They play different positions. They're cheap. Two of the three are cheap on DraftKings, and frankly, $4,800 for Bell, who's got an ungodly power streak going on this season. It's like everything is coming together for him. He is an outstanding play. If you want to expand it a little bit, you can put in Frazier or Brian Reynolds. I don't hate Starling Marte, but I think there are better plays for his price and using up the outfield spot.
Yeah, I would favor the lefties for sure. Eflin giving up a 1.5 whip to lefties going back to last year compared to a 1.2 whip versus righties, 5.1 xFIP compared to a 3.5. So, and also a bigger home run rate as well. The lefties 4.6% compared to 2.4% versus righties. So Starling Marte, I mean, I mentioned I do like Pittsburgh often. They have come through a few times as a stack with just not much ownership on them. Marte, generally a guy I'm willing to leave out of a lot of lineups because I feel like he's always owned. He's always a little bit overpriced. And the guys who are lefties here have been doing a good job. You have guys with almost a 340 batting average for Brian Reynolds, almost 290 for Adam Frazier. These guys can hit it. Josh Bell, you mentioned, who's been a little bit cold, but he's going to turn that back around. So I don't mind Pittsburgh today as a low-owned stack. Just have a couple lineups in.
Do you have how many stolen bases Reynolds has this year up?
He got one yesterday for the first time. So did Dickerson. They stole an Arrieta deliberately as part of their strategy. I know that because I watched it.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, they both got their first of the year, and they were just like, I guess Arrieta can't pick guys off, so they sent them both, even though neither was that fast.
I had thought that Reynolds had some stolen bases, so just for those that were watching the earlier show, clearly I misspoke. I don't know what I had. I think I had Frazier or Marte in mind, because Pittsburgh generally has other guys that run, and I think somehow I transferred it that Reynolds has been up. He's a switch hitter. He's been having.
He's got the build of a guy who steals, but yeah, I don't think he had any until yesterday.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And even when I said it, I was like, you should go check that, just because you don't need to spout off on something you're not entirely sure of. So.
He fits the profile like a high BABIP player. That's generally the guys are going to be faster. So yeah, like I'd see why you would, but I was surprised too that was it, because he's out there a lot. He's in the 2-hole. You would think in the NL too. You'd think he'd be stealing a little bit more, but apparently only against Jake Arrieta. That's the move. Let's go on to the next one here. Oakland heading into Minnesota. Minnesota going against Brett Anderson, who doesn't strike out anybody, but does keep the ball down pretty well. It's a 27% fly ball rate. Minnesota, not much ownership for them, not much ownership for Anderson. Also, not much for Barrios on the other side going against Oakland. Oakland, good power numbers on the year, but it's not going to be a terribly hot day in Minnesota today. I really don't have much this game. I think I might have one or two Oakland stacks, but besides that, I think I'm pretty dry here. You get anything so far, Emax?
No, really not excited to go against Barrios. Adam and I talked about the price on Chris Davis, $3,200. He's priced at $3,200 for a reason. His last 10 games, he has one extra base hit. It's a double. And he's batting about, I don't remember, like 212 over his last 40 at-bats or something putrid. So, this is an amazing price, but I just don't see myself really getting there. I'm sure the optimizer will put him in. I will probably set Oakland at 5%. They will be one of the many teams I have at 5%, especially when I'm doing the double stacks or my secondary stack. I don't mind getting guys in as 2-mans or 3-mans, but really nothing here for me for Oakland. On the other side, I'm not really interested in taking Barrios. I'll probably set him around 5 to 10%. In my lineups, but I do like the hitters here. Going against Brett Anderson, 110 innings on the season, 55 strikeouts. Yes, folks, that is half of a strikeout per inning. We've got some amazing guys against lefties. Mitch Garver leading off. There you go. There's your contrarian catcher of $5,300. I mean, who do they think he is? Gerard Dyson? I don't know. But $5,300 is expensive on DK. You will be one of like 5 people in your tournament that have him. But I think Nelson Cruz, Miguel Sano, and CJ Cron are all outstanding. Brett Anderson doesn't miss bats. That's really going to help CJ and Sano in this one, and that's all she wrote. You can spread it out additionally if you want to go to Polanco or Marwin Gonzalez for a little bit of a price discount, depending on the site you're playing on. But for me, it's the Minnesota Twins hitters.
So, all right, let's play a quick game because Mitch Garver at his price, I feel like it's worth pointing it out. Emac, you don't have these numbers in front of you, I assume, but his numbers on the year. Guess his ISO for Mitch Garver and his WRC plus.
Oh, his isolated power 230, WRC plus 117. I'm just pulling numbers out of the air.
On the year, so his overall, no splits, 333 ISO, 157 WRC plus.
No kidding. And the problem is he plays about 3 days a week because he's always hurt.
It's true. Yeah, his numbers, I mean, they jump out. The Twins lineup this year, I think if you use a longer term sample size, they don't quite pop as much. I mean, some of the guys will, like Nelson Cruz has been good, 240 at bats, a 151 WRC plus, a 312 ISO. But like a guy like Garver, he's been pretty good, but on the year, he's just been much better. And whatever they're doing, we've talked about them before on one of these shows where the Minnesota Twins are probably the most likely juicing team in the league if we were to guess any of them. And yeah, a lot of these guys performing really well in the year. Only guy under a 100 WRC plus in that lineup today is Marwin Gonzalez with a 97 on the year.
And oh, really? That's not bad because he's kind of the glue guy. He plays a couple different positions, and he gets to usually bat fifth or sixth. I have no idea why he should not be batting fifth or sixth, but there we are. Hey, it just occurred to me because I was reading articles today. My favorite player in all of baseball forever, Edgar Martinez, going into the Hall of Fame tonight.
Oh, that's right. Well, congratulations to both you and Edgar.
Yes, we did it together.
If he doesn't give you a shout out in the speech, you should throw a tantrum. That's the move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So I think we covered the Twins well enough then. Yeah. And the Twins park too overall in the year. I mean, I'm waiting for it to heat up a bit more in Minnesota, but it's been a cold park on the year. Just 0.83 runs for every one overall in terms of park factors, 0.72 home runs for every one. So not quite there yet, but as the weather gets hotter in Minnesota throughout the summer, I guess maybe it'll change, but only a 78-degree day right now. So maybe getting to the 80s by the time game time rolls around, but probably not hot enough to make an appreciable bonus for them. Let's get on to the next one, Emac. We got Kansas City going against Cleveland. Cleveland, the 6.3 implied run total, which is pretty high, which has been the story for Cleveland pretty much every day. And yet they continue to have parts of guys kind of getting well, I guess, in separate intervals here. But the stack as a whole, I keep playing it. Jake and I keep playing it, I think, on our shows. And they get parts and just not the whole thing ever works well. It's another nice spot here going against Junis. Adam Plutko on the other side, or Plutko, depending upon how accented you want to make his name. Terrible versus lefty. He's given up massive numbers of the 7.1 whip, 12.5% K rate, a 7% home run rate to lefties. But of course, Kansas City only playing a handful of lefties, all of whom kind of suck in there. I guess you'd say maybe Alex Gordon, not so much, but it's a pretty decent spot for Plutko with what he's bad at. But I'm not getting any Kansas City. I am getting a little bit of Cleveland, actually a decent bit of Cleveland. What are you getting here, Emac?
Cleveland mostly. Again, I guess we have all the lineups in, so nice. I can start. I'll upload the projections and start running some real crunches here. But for me, it's going to be Cleveland in this one. Jake Junis basically gives up home runs in bunches. He has top 5 for the last 2 years. Verlander's the only name that stands out that shouldn't be there, but Mike Leake's up there. Hey, he had a no-hitter into the 9th last night. Junis is there, and Reynaldo Lopez. So 4 of the 5 guys that pitched yesterday or today of the 2-year home run leaders. So yeah, let's target against Junis. He trolled me the last time that I said this, but I'm going to keep saying this. He did have one moment last year where he put together a nice little stretch of games where he was solid. Thought he'd turn the corner. He does have just okay strikeout stuff, but it's close to 1 per inning. The problem, again, is the home runs. He's given up 21 this year in 113 innings. This will be the 4th time that Cleveland has faced him. They've knocked him around for just shy of an 8 ERA. He's managed to go 17 innings, did have 15 strikeouts, but gave up 23 hits, 4 walks, 12 strikeouts, 3 home runs. So Cleveland, we like it when they face righties because their 3 best hitters are the switch hitters. They can all turn around and come from the other side, and they're all better as lefties. They all 3 of them make the lineup. Yes, of course they did. So Lindor Mercado is a righty, but he's good. I wish he was on my team, but I'll take Juan Soto. That's okay.
Yeah, Mercado had a nice day yesterday, which I had him as the thumbnail in the 4 corners video, which I still was like iffy on the stack, but Mercado's been so good recently where I'm okay kind of trying him out there. And he had a monster day. He had like 1 home run, a couple steals. He's doing everything now. And yeah, Junis on the year, 4.2% home run rate, same number going back to last year. So he's given up that power, 42% hard contact. It's going to be a hot day in Cleveland, a park that's already given up more home runs than the rest of the league averages anyway. So it's not a bad spot here, just maybe a spot to try many stacks because I do feel like the full stacks tend to have a hard time getting there in concert. And even when you get good days out of guys like Tyler Naquin, you have kind of the 1 or 2 guys like Jason Kipnis, I think, drags down those Cleveland stacks every time. And he's been terrible on the year. But this is a team that projects well, warm day. And yeah, I mean, you're not getting much leverage on Junis. It seems like nobody's going to own him. So if Sean B in the chat, if you want to own Junis, you're getting him at low ownership. But I don't think this is this is not the spot because there's really not a lot of strikeouts in this Cleveland lineup. Only 3 guys over league average in K rate. In the top 5, all of them under 18% K rate. So that's not a good spot for Junis to go to.
Betty White does not approve.
No, no, I think not.
I can't hear hot in Cleveland. I've never watched an episode, but I think that's a hilarious premise for a show. And anything with Betty White gets to see my seal of approval, whether I watch it or not.
Because she's your age.
Oh, all right. Well,
that was mean. I'm sorry, man.
Let's start talking about the home run results a little early, Chris. I want to hear every category that I'm kicking your ass in.
Age before beauty, Emax.
Doubling down. Look at that.
It's a Saturday show. We got to get loose. Let's go on to the next one. Speaking of getting loose here, the ownership is real loose on one guy in this game, Texas and Houston at Houston. Texas getting 4.3 implied runs for them. Houston getting 6.2 for them. Interesting looking Houston stat going against Ariel Jurado. But the big story in this game is going to be Jose Urquidy, who is going to be owned out the ass on DraftKings. I think, I'm not sure. Emac on the other sites, is he going to be comparably owned on FanDuel and Yahoo?
Yahoo, he's 25. I endorse that. I only did some all-day stuff, and I'm pairing Musgrove and Urquidy in all of my lineups. So let's go.
He'll be number 3 on FanDuel, and then on Yahoo, he'll still be number 1 with 48%. So yes, he is officially, I would say, if we're making a proclamation as professional analysts, I would say that he is officially owned out the ass on every site. A lot of Urquidy. It's hard to ignore him. He projects well on our site. So I'm with the field, unfortunately. What are you doing with Urquidy?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna set. I'm coming in here and setting my pitcher caps. I'm gonna cap him at 60, but I'm totally fine with that. With half the field having him, you can't go wrong. You're hoping that with our the Osmos prescribed strategy of paying down in your entry fees, making more lineups to have more chances to have something break free. If this many people have him and he's at this price point, there is no downside. Even if he goes negative, half the field is going to have him on DraftKings. You're not dead in the water. You may min cash, but you're not dead in the water. Now, you're going to want some teams without him in case that happens. But he has like a 30% strikeout rate in the minors. He's pitched twice in the majors this year. One was in Coors. I forget where the other one was. I think it was at home, but I thought, if I remember correctly, it was a tougher matchup. Let me call up his game log. He at Colorado and then against the Angels. So he should be good for 75, 85 pitches, somewhere in that range. We'll see. Young guy's only got a couple starts, but he went 81 in Colorado. He went 60 in his last one against LA. We'll have to see what happens. If he gets himself in a jam, they're not going to be afraid to have a quick hook on him. But if he can get, just a couple clean innings, that's all I really want. If he gets us 12 points, we're off to the races because there's going to be enough guys that are going to struggle to get 12 DraftKings wins tonight, and it wouldn't shock me if there are 3 or 4 of our 20 pitchers that have negative at the end of the night. So,
yeah, it's true. It is a park. I mean, it's not as terrible of a park as maybe Houston gets a rep for, but still one which should help out pitchers a little bit more. At least going to keep out that Texas heat, which I would say is a positive for Urquidy. And it does look like he's been a bit unlucky. He's only faced 33 batters in the major leagues so far, but his numbers do jump out as poor, but he's also been pretty unlucky with a 570 BABIP overall, a 620 BABIP versus righties, but the XFIP has shown signs of life, a 2.7 XFIP and a 24.2% K rate. So if you're wondering why this guy has ownership, it's because he does have signifiers here that show he should have better days. He's getting a Texas lineup that has a 28.1% K rate in their actual lineup, even though they do have some dangerous hitters in there. So I actually do have a couple of Texas stacks going against Urquidy because the ownership is so high. And you have Chu there, who's got a 142 WRC plus, Santana with a 125. Gallo also hits the righties pretty well with a 118. Odor, is not great on the year, but he's got at least some power. Cabrera as well. I think you have guys you can go to here if you want to try to get leverage against Urquidy. I think it's not a bad play, even though it's not a great park, and the Texas is really not a great hitting team overall. I don't hate it, and I also have a ton of Houston on the other side. So what are you doing for the hitters here, Emac?
Houston will probably be about my 5th stack. Of course, I like Boston better. I am okay with Minnesota more, kind of more on the 3-man side of things with Minnesota. I like the Dodgers more, whom we will get to, and then I like the Angels more. So they'll fall in with an area where we want to get them, but there's a lot of good outside games, and I think it's really it's really crucial to kind of spread things out tonight. Bats are going to carry the day, in my opinion, and I want to be mixing and matching with them. So Houston will be in my plans, but I don't. They're not as much of a slam dunk um, as I think we normally would go to here, and it's more. So let me back up for a second. It's more that they're in controlled atmosphere. They're in, it's going to be 74 degrees in Minute Maid Park because the roof's going to be closed. Ariel Jurado, not good at all. Does not miss bats. Does just not good. Now, is he top 1% of his profession? Yes. Now, compared to everybody else, no. So, in his profession, no. Compared to you and I, hell yeah, he's awesome. I wouldn't even be able to get the bat off my shoulder before he struck me out. But that's me. That's not the Houston Astros. So, let me look here. It's going to be our usual guys. You're not getting a discount. Springer, Bregman, and Alvarez would be the guys I want. No Jose Altuve, but you can put Brantley in that mix. So top four. I don't like paying $4,600 for Yuli Gurriel, but so are other people going to come to that conclusion. So now you've got a guy in the middle of a lineup that's relatively solid. I think Robinson Chirinos at $3,500 is a very good catcher option. If I was hand building, he would be one of the guys I would go to first in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things that we always talk about with Houston, where you can go to the bottom of the order there if you want to get a little bit cheaper, and also different ownership wise. Though Houston isn't quite as owned as you might think, given the matchup with Jurado. So I don't mind Houston. I think you can stack them up a bunch of different ways, and that run total is pretty solid. And as Emax mentioned, as Jurado, even though he is a professional pitcher, he is a guy who doesn't miss bats at all. 17% K rate, 7.6% swing strike rate, giving up 44% hard contact, and also a 4.8 xFIP on the year. So just no signifiers there that are great for Jurado going against a really strong hitting Houston lineup, who's actually being weighed down a little bit by guys like Miles Straw and even Chirinos, who doesn't really bat that well versus righties. But overall, they have a 273 batting average, a 124 WRC plus, and a 191 ISO in that lineup today, as well as just an 18% K rate. So it is a really nice spot for Houston. And people in the YouTube chat questioning the ownership on Urquidy, that is what we have on the site. We have him as over 50% owned on DraftKings and comparably owned on Yahoo.
So Adam and I talked about that before we had the ownership on the show today, and we were ballparking him somewhere between 30 and 50%, and we both wanted to get to 50. So the fact that we've had all day to do this, and other people have been talking about him, and there's so many good hitting environments, and there's so many teams with high run totals, here's an easy way to get to him. And the fact that there's not that appealing of top-end pitchers. You've got Luis Castillo, you've got Kershaw, and you've got Greinke. I guess you could put Barrios in that one, but I really don't want to. So Greinke, roof closed. He's a good pitcher. Adam pointed out that he has, he claimed his fastball was 88 miles an hour and his changeup was 88 miles an hour, but he still is a decent pitcher in these matchups. Now, he's got a tough one, but now we're looking at Kershaw kind of spoiling the lead. He's against a Marlins team that strikes out very little against lefties. Probably about, I haven't looked at their active lineup, but it's about 19%. So that, and Kershaw's not Clayton effing Kershaw anymore, but good spot. It's 25 degrees cooler than pretty much anywhere else. Or 20 degrees cooler anywhere else in LA. So we're going to like Kershaw, but that's a huge chunk of your money. You can damn near get Musgrove and Urquidy for Kershaw's salary. Castillo becomes a little more intriguing, and I had been under the impression that he was still one of the Cincinnati pitchers that was not good against lefties. His numbers have changed markedly this season, and that was one of the things that we talked about on the earlier show. Is I like a little bit more of a runway. So if we look at his 2-year numbers against lefties, and now we're jumping ahead to Castillo, but that's fine. 350 WOBA, 200 ISO. Wow, that's not that great. If we look at this year, against 243 lefties, a 300 WOBA, a 150 ISO. Holy hell, that is pretty good. Now, it's hot in Cincinnati, but the Cardinals are one of the worst teams against righties. They don't have Matt Carpenter. Yes, they're going to play some lefties, but it's because Ozuna's out, Yadier Molina's out. I didn't see who their catcher was tonight. It is Matt Wieters. At some point, Matt Wieters has played too many days in a row, and he's just going to go on the injured list just because he's Matt Wieters. And you've got Dexter Fowler, who's not that threatening, and then Tommy Edelman. Tommy Edelman I like on Yahoo. It's $7. that's about the only place I'd play him. Otherwise, I really have no interest in the Cardinals, which then makes me think, all right, now I got to think about Castillo here at 11 too. The Cardinals don't necessarily strike out a ton. They're a relatively patient organization. That's one of the things they preach. But this is a reasonably good matchup for Castillo. I wish it was 70 degrees and not 95, but here we are. So, jumping ahead to our other pitchers, you're looking at that, and then you're saying, you know what? I can get 2 pitchers for his price. Probably going to go that route. So that's how we get, coming full circle, Urquidy's at 50, 60%. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. And let's do the home run picks, but I want to talk about Castillo next because I actually agree with a lot of what you're saying there. And I like Castillo quite a bit, but if you want to get to Castillo and you can take him despite the heat, I think you do have to kind of go to Urquidy if you want to fit in bats. And that's just a game approach here, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's do the dong picks because there are people I saw on Twitter. There's one guy who wanted Emax pick in early so we can make a prop bet based upon the Emax home run pick. Emax home run rate. So Emax has made the most picks amongst us all. You're just popping in every day, making picks and getting consistency. You're getting that shooting motion right by doing it every day. 21 total dongs on the year, 20 correct picks. Jake now a bit behind, 17 total dongs, 16 correct picks. I'm in third place still with 14 and 13, and Josh bringing up the rear, sniffing all the farts as he loves to do. 16 and 12.
Wait, it's the human centipede. I can finally say that.
It is fully Josh is the back end of the human centipede, the favorite part of the human centipede, I'm sure. But he is also has the lowest pick rate too. So that's a bad form by Josh.
Hey, when he takes a day off, and he gets 1 day off per week. So.
It's true. He's got to get. I think he and I both I think we just need to start showing up every day. Even though I showed up every day this week to the shows, even the ones that I wasn't hosting, got fucking 0 this week. So it's a bit of a kick in the nuts. Especially yesterday because I should have gone with Yelich instead of. Actually, no, I got 1 home run this week. My bad. Jake got 0 this week. But I was going to go Yelich again yesterday because Josh went with Mike Trout. Did not go Yelich. Went with Ohtani, and then Josh and I both got almost perfect gamed by Mike Leake, which is a terrible feeling, Emac. So you're the clubhouse leader. I'll let you go first. Who is going to be your home run pick?
Oh, goodness. I need to look at I just want to see here. I want to look at Minnesota real quick, and I want to look at Brett Anderson. Does not allow the power. So Anderson this season, 500 hitters. He has about a 130 isolated power. So I'm not going to go there because this one you want to get in bunches. And I don't want to pick just one guy. So I am going to go with Josh Bell.
Ooh, okay. All right. It's taken. I think Sean V might have a remark about that.
I have not picked him yet this year. But here's my thoughts. One, he's a switch hitter. 2, he's really coming into his own this season. Everything's coming together for him. He can go lefty against Eflin. That's a solid option, and it's hot there. And I didn't want to pick one of the Boston guys because that's kind of cheating. Now, Chris is going to pick one of the Boston guys.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like the move, if we're being honest. And there's no time to be a hero at this point of the year. We're still have half a season left almost, but I got to start making up ground here. So
I would have gone with Matt Adams if tonight it was Julio Teheran, but it's Mike Soroka. Too many ground balls, in my opinion. Now, Matt Adams will troll me with his revenge home run in Atlanta.
So Eshelman's keeping the ball down, but that bullpen also stinks. So I'll just assume that somebody gets it going here. JD or Betts. I'll go JD. I'll go with the I guess safer pick theoretically. JD Martinez, step up. All right. Hopefully I can close. If I can close the gap on Jake, then you're in sniffing distance. I feel like that's all I need. All right. And then, I think Jake is off and Josh is off, so we shouldn't have picks from them. But that guy who wanted to place a prop bet, go right now. Go check Josh Bell out on your local book and follow Emax to the pay window.
You guys were giving me... Who did I pick that you guys gave me crap for? And then I came back the next night with CJ Cron's brother, batting 8th, who got a home run.
You had Bellinger, Adams, and Cron in a row. And then...
Bellinger. You guys were giving me crap for picking Bellinger. So
I was kind of bummed because Vogelbach was also in consideration for me yesterday, and he had a double dong day, and I was like, oh, that'd be fun to troll Emac with that. But then I got caught up in trolling Josh. It's always a terrible game whenever you let anybody else deviate your strategy. That's where it all goes south.
Wait, did Vogelbach have 2 home runs last night?
Yep, he had a double dong day.
Oh, I knew he had 1. I was just in awe that Leak was pitching a no-hitter, and I was trying to write the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article and all that fun stuff. So I did not realize that. Damn it.
Yeah, I had Vogelbach, and I think as a one-off in one of my better lineups, and I was like, oh, wow, Vogelbach had like 38 points or something like that. It was a good day for Big Dan.
All right, I'm dropping the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks articles. Got it for the main and the late. Also, third paragraph of that has the link to Yahoo. I know they're not sponsoring this show, but it is fun to play over there. They've been rolling out some pay 33% of the field contests. They only have a 12% management fee. And the interesting thing about this is you get your money back if you finish it in that min cash for 33%. But it's like being kind of in a triple up, but with upside. So if you think you can beat, 2/3 of the field, you get. I looked this morning. I think it was the $3. It was 4 max, $3 entry, and first got $120. Not horrible, on that one. So I just wanted to point that out. They're trying some different contests out there. The most they'll ever have any entries is 10 in their contests. Otherwise, they run about 1% of the player pool. So that one was 450 people. They capped it at 4. So you can get $30 on your initial deposit bonus if you've been playing season long there for money and that sort of stuff. DFS is in a different compartment. If you have not yet made a DFS deposit, come in on our link, use the promo code OSMO. They'll match your first $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points, which are available for immediate use to enter into any contest.
All right, so go check out Yahoo. Check out that link right now. It's in the chat. And let's get on to the next one. We talked about it a little bit, but St. Louis at Cincinnati. St. Louis getting 4.4 implied runs. Cincinnati getting 5.1. It's going to be a hot day in a park that does help out the hitters here. So that's going to be a positive for obviously the bats. And a downside for Luis Castillo, who, quite frankly, I still like quite a bit. Getting up a 175 batting average, a 1.1 whip, 29.3% K rate, and a 15.4% swing strike rate. Going against the St. Louis team who's got 4 guys above league average in strikeouts, and frankly, just a cold lineup overall. Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with Castillo. I have little bits of Cincinnati and think maybe a little bit of St. Louis just to kind of hedge against Castillo, but more just Castillo than anything here. What do you get in this game, Emax?
Castillo, a little bit of Cincinnati. I haven't run my crunches yet because I keep analyzing games here, but let me get back to that page. We've got the guys I'm looking towards are on DraftKings in particular. I'm going to get some of these guys, especially my secondary stacks. So Jesse Winker is 3,600. He has power. He's leading off. He's going to get 5 at-bats today. Joey Votto has moments. He's either going to be on base. He might get us a double. He's, what is he, like 34 now? He's on the downward side of his career. Yasiel Puig is solid against righties. Actually better against righties than he is lefties. Now, Miles Mikolas is sponsored by Ricola Cough Drops now, so that is an impressive thing. You'll see it on his jersey. Sorry, I tease Adam with that all the time.
I know I just know it's Michaelis because Jake is beating it into my head because I always think of Mikolas too, and yeah, no, it's Michaelis.
Yes, and I actually got Adam to call him Mikolas on the podcast because I kept saying Mikolas.
Adam's unflappable, so you're getting Adam. Though maybe a hungover Adam today might have been one that was more susceptible.
Yeah, so no, he just shook his head when I said it. He was like, can I leave the show now? So back to that. Josh Van Meter batting 5th. He's third base outfield eligible. He's 2,500. So those are going to be the guys I'm going to get. I don't know a ton about Josh Van Meter, but he's 2,500. He's batting 5th. Come on. Cardinals do not have the best bullpen, and this is a phenomenal hitting environment. We do have the wind at 6 to 8 miles an hour out to left field. That, of course, is a little bit better for righties, but it's 95 with 50% humidity. Come on. We want some guys against Mikolas.
So I would say the Cardinals. So I'll debate the one point about the Cardinals. I think they actually do have one of the better the bullpens, at least on this slate, giving up a 211 batting average, just a 1.2 whip, 4.1 xFIP, 27.7% K rate. So I think they actually are pretty decent.
Okay, that's totally fair. Totally fair.
Yeah, not the weather though. I mean, the weather changes everything. As again, we saw David Price really the best example of that yesterday. Where on paper, just a really strong strikeout matchup, and in a hot day, you're not getting enough movement on the ball. Emac, I think you said this in one of our shows like a month or so ago, where pitchers aren't going to have it 80% of the time, and it's how they handle it and how they get through it. And if you don't have it in 90-degree weather, you're going to get blown up anyway. So
yeah, and here's what I do want to hit on for their bullpen. Damn near everybody pitched yesterday. Waka went 30. Chasen Shreve went 13. He went 11 on Wednesday. He'll probably be available because they're going to need him. Andrew Miller's gone 3 days in a row, 15, 12, 14. He's not going to pitch tonight. Carlos Martinez has gone 3 of 4. 21 did not pitch on Thursday, and then 27 yesterday. Dominic Leone comes in just for like literally a handful of pitches. Like you can count him on one hand. You can count him on one hand. He's had 2 in his last 2 appearances. John Gant pitched 2 days in a row. He could potentially be available. bring it is what I want to say with John Gant. And then you've got John Brebbia, who pitched 23 on Wednesday, 9 on Thursday, did not pitch yesterday, so he's going to be available. And then Giovanni Gallegos, 13 on Tuesday, none Wednesday, 28 on Thursday, 0 on Friday. He's going to be available. These guys are not household names, so they don't scare me as much. They're collective, decent, good weather for the first part of the year in St. Louis and through the Midwest, meaning it's been cooler. But this is where I'm just kind of saying, yeah, I'm not going to be terrified of their bullpen. But it's always good to point out those overarching numbers, especially when you pull in the active roster, Chris, because it's telling, because some of the teams you think would just have an ass bullpen really don't. It's just that you don't know any of the names, and they don't have a stopper or a high-end closer. And all of a sudden you start to write them off. So you want to look at this stuff. So I like to look at the usage and just try to guess who's available.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think, and that's probably a fair point, because I do avoid some bullpens more. I think it's better generally to make if you're trying to attack a stack rather than going against a bullpen that's got a really bad one. Whereas avoiding a game because of a good bullpen is probably not a wise move, especially on 90-degree plus weather. So yeah, I think that's all those points are pretty sound, and we found middle ground there. Let's get on to the next one. Got Washington and Atlanta. Mike Soroka on one side has been really good on the year. Not a great strikeout pitcher, but good at limiting all the damage. Maybe that'll change as the weather's been a little bit hotter across the nation, and obviously going to be hot in Atlanta, though not quite as hot as you might expect given how hot it is everywhere else today. It's about 80-degree temperature right now, at least the last time I pulled it. But Atlanta getting 5.7 implied runs for them. Washington getting 4.3. I really don't think I got any of this game at all. So now that I'm looking at it, I guess I wouldn't hate Atlanta because Sanchez is not a great pitcher, and it's a bad bullpen for Washington, probably the worst bullpen on the slate. And but I didn't get there. Any of this game for you, Emax?
Actually, not barely any at all. Respect Anibal Sanchez enough. He's okay. The pricing on Atlanta, this will be one of the teams I just set both sides at 5%. If I get some, great. If I don't, that's fine as well. Soroka, a little too high of a ground ball rate for me to really start to look to Soto or to Adams. I feel more like home run hunting maybe amongst those two, but full stack, it's hard to do stacks against guys that have decent control and are a ground ball pitcher. And Soroka, not a strikeout guy, but he does have swing and miss stuff. But he's content to go with contact. And so if he gets ahead in the count, he's also not afraid to put one where, maybe they'll foul it off, or maybe they'll get some crappy contact and it'll be ball in play. Hence high ground ball rate. I wish he was on my favorite teams. He's not, but Adam had sort of a similar assessment that we're like, the pitchers are okay. I don't want either pitcher. Hitters are okay. I don't want really any of the hitters. So if I was picking anybody, it would be Freeman, Soto, and then Matt Adams. I mean, Matt Adams, he had a moment there in Atlanta, was it 2 years ago? I mean, Freddie Freeman actually played third base for a while because Matt Adams was so damn hot of a hitter there. That's my Sean V analysis. Sean V heart, baby. There's a heart right there for you.
Yeah, as you mentioned, just two really good damage-limiting pitchers. Soroka only a 1% home run rate on the year, which you could make an argument maybe do for some positive regression, but the signifiers besides that aren't. I mean, it's not out of line. I think he mentioned just a 21% fly ball rate for Soroka on the year, only 34% hard contact. Those are both solid numbers. And also the chase rate jumps out, 35% chase rate for Soroka. So even though he's not getting strikeouts, he is able to kind of deceive guys in a way that's helpful. And Sanchez too, a 5.1 exit, which does seem like there's worse times coming, but just a 236 batting average allowed, only 30% hard contact. So just also kind of playing within the pocket, just 3.3% home run rate. So Sanchez able to keep it in the park and keep it down. And maybe a game where I wouldn't want to pay Soroka's price, and I probably wouldn't want to pay Sanchez's either, but they are guys, maybe if you want to go to them and hope they just hang in there for 7 innings and just eat up innings, then maybe that's a possibility.
Yeah, and shockingly, this is the last of our 7 o'clock games. There's 1 8 o'clock and 2 9 o'clock. So we got 3 left here. But
all right, so let's go on to Milwaukee.
Let's hit those because I got to start doing some crunches here and get some.
Okay, yeah. Milwaukee at Arizona, 4.1 implied runs from Milwaukee going against Zach Greinke. They kind of woke up out of their little slumber, I guess, in Arizona from game 1. Got it going a little bit in game 2 yesterday. Arizona getting 4.9 implied runs for them. Not trying to attack Greinke, another guy who kind of limits damage well enough and also has a little bit more strikeout ability with a 23.2% clip on the year. On the other side, Gio Gonzalez, pretty good versus lefties, but getting a lot of righties today. And that's not going to help him out, but still not bad enough versus righties where I'm dying to go there. Just a 2.4% home run rate for him going back to last year versus righty bats. and 31% hard contact versus righties as well. So not a spot either here where I'm dying to get to the pitchers or the bats. What about you, Emac?
More of a late game contest, and I love to play all the slates, so I will be looking a little tiny bit of Gio Gonzalez because there's only 6 pitchers and we got to play 2 of them. But for me, it's going to be more on the Arizona hitters. Shockingly, not a lot of name value amongst them, but they are collectively as a team solid against lefties, which is surprising considering they don't have AJ Pollock and Paul Goldschmidt, who were 2 of their better lefties for the last several seasons, or lefty killers for the last several seasons. So for me, it's going to kind of be going with some of these less than household names. I don't mind them as a secondary stack when you're running 5-2s or 4-3s or 4-4s, however you want to do it. But roof is closed. It's closed for the rest of the homestand. They've already announced that. It's hot there, but the humidor has proven that it is more of a hitting neutral park, slightly to the pitchers, but you want to take into account the various data that happens with that. So this is a decent spot for Greinke. He doesn't usually get his ass kicked. He's very, very good pitcher. He is veteran. He's been with a gazillion teams. It's unlikely would it shock me if he gave up 2 home runs today, 1 to Yelich and 1 to Moustakas? No. Would it surprise me if he still had a quality start and gave up 2 home runs today? No. Would it shock me if he had more than 6 strikeouts? Yes.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. And here's one note, which don't give your answer yet, Emac, because I'll do it after the next game. But Zach Greinke's batting stats versus a lefty jump out to me, and they're very fun. So guys in chat right now, if you're in chat, give me a guess as to what Zach Greinke's ISO and his WRC plus versus left-hand pitching is. And if you're right, I'll give you a shout out because I'm not giving you a prize for that. But leave it in the chat right now because you could also Google it, so that would be unfair. But drop it in the chat. We'll go to it after this next game to see who's the most correct. Miami at the Dodgers, though. Clayton Kershaw going to be popular because Miami's got a 2.7 implied run total against them, which is a slate low. I'm going to have some Kershaw. Probably not going to have much Dodgers going against Alcantara, even though he is not great. He's still pretty good at, also another guy good at keeping things in pocket, limiting damage for the most part. And Dodger Stadium, traditionally not a good hitting park anyway. Home runs are fine there, but everything else not going to do too great. So I really don't have a ton here besides Kershaw. And even that, I'm less on Kershaw because I'm going to Luis Castillo a lot. What are you doing here? And what are you getting, Emac?
For me, it's going to be Kershaw ahead of Castillo. Just it's a better environment. He's going against the Marlins, who are not that fierce, but they tend to rear up and put our best laid plans, or lay our best laid plans to waste, leaving them in shambles. This one is 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock start there, so it's kind of the day game, but it's going to be cooling down a little bit. The one thing I think a lot of people lose sight of, and I mentioned this on the earlier show with Adam, they lose sight of Chavez Ravine, which is generally a pitching park. However, it does turn into neutral or shades a little bit to hitters when it's day games. This one, it's not quite warm enough, but people lose sight of that because sometimes they'll have those rando ones where they start 7 o'clock on the Saturday slate, which is really 4 o'clock LA time, and it's generally warmer, and people tend to miss that little nuance. That's not really in play as much today, but it is a 6 o'clock start, not a 7 o'clock start. But for me, I'm still good with Kershaw. He'll probably be my third most favorite guy behind Musgrove and Arcades, who we talked about just from a pricing and phenomenal hitting perspective. Amongst all the batters we're looking at, that would be what I'm looking for. I like the Dodgers as a stack. They got a lot of lefties. We mentioned, let me look at the Marlins bullpen. Let's see. So here we go. We got Jose Quiada played or through 24 on Friday, 19 on Wednesday. He might be in play. You do have Eliseo Hernandez, who started for a while, kind of as a swingman. He hasn't been used since Tuesday, so he's probably going to be the long relief guy if something happens to Alcantara. I'm not really excited for Alcantara. He's going to be a good pitcher at some point, still a rookie, but he's adequate enough that the Dodgers, I like them as a whole just because they have so many lefties, and I think this is a nice spot for them, and they check a lot of the boxes tonight. Let me look and see who ended up in there.
So the one thing that just to touch on that point real fast, the thing that scared me off, because I do think Alcantara is bad versus lefty. He's got a 5.3 xFIP and just a 13% K rate overall. But like the hard contact hasn't been there, 31% hard contact, only 50% medium contact does show some signs of life there that maybe they can drive a little more, but he has been keeping the contact in pocket too. And I don't think that's going to be affected by the park factors of Miami quite as much. So that was one thing where I was like, all right, if I'm picking my stacks, I'm going to go with an Emax 20. That was kind of one disqualifier for the Dodgers. Doesn't mean it's a bad idea to go to the Dodgers, but I do think that makes him a bit less appealing that ball's not bouncing off bats for him in general.
Yeah, and my hope is he gets out and we get to the bullpen, which is not great.
Yes, and that is a legitimately not good bullpen overall. 4.9 xFIP for them, giving up a lot of fly balls to a 41% fly ball rate. So whatever Alcantara doesn't give up, it's possible that bullpen does give up. And Jake Hari's pick, by the way, the baseball savants home run pick of Rhys Hoskins is in. So he's joining all the guys that we picked. Who was your pick again, Emax?
Josh Bell.
Josh Bell, and I had JD Martinez. So there you go. We now have a triumvirate of picks to go with. So ride that out. And people in the chat, so everybody undershot Zach Greinke's numbers versus a lefty. Going back to last year, he's only had 40 at-bats versus a lefty, but a 366 batting average, a 400 on-base percentage, a 242 ISO, and a 161 WRC plus for Zach Greinke. So he is not taking anything out of that order with his presence at all, and he's actually might add some value. Technically the best hitter in that Arizona lineup today.
Yeah, he's one of the better hitters. Him and Bumgarner, Strasburg. Although Strasburg slipped a little bit, so he had 2 hits in the third inning or whatever, a couple days or in his last start, 5 RBI. But there was a point where they were shutting him down and considering using him as a pinch hitter on that Nationals team just because he was one of their better guys about 6 years ago, whenever that season was, when they shouldn't have shut him down and they missed their World Series window, but whatever.
Yeah, and also shout out John G because he was the closest in the chat. You are correct. You are the closest one to that number there. But yeah, Zach Greinke, great hitter. Roster him at hitter if you can today. I had Strasburg the other day when he hit his home run, and I really think that should just count. Like, there's no reason for that not to count.
Sure, why not?
Do you disagree vehemently? Because I really do think like you have a pitcher in there and you actually get lucky that your pitcher hits a home run. Like, why would that count against you? I guess maybe it would make pitchers more valuable who do that, but it's so infrequent anyway.
Sports Trade X, a site that was founded by Two Gun, who I believe has won $2 million prize pools, or won $1 million and then got 500,000 in NFL. They used to have pitching stats count for what it's worth. That was the only fantasy site I've ever seen do that, but they were long gone a few years ago.
You think that's the reason why they were like, this home run for pitchers thing is getting out of control? We're hemorrhaging money.
No. There were too many sites at the moment.
Out of all the boneheaded schemes DFS sites try out there, I think that's probably still pretty low down the food chain.
Yes.
Let's get on to our last game here. Got the Angels and Emax Mariners here. 5.2 implied runs for the Angels, 4.8 implied runs for Seattle. Griffin Canning is a guy I am getting a lot of with our projections at Osmo.com, which, by the way, if you want to get in there for the end of the main slate or for the night slate, go use that promo code live before lock. Get your free half month of Osmo Plus. So go get in there right now. We have all the data that you need there to both finish up this main slate and to play the late slate. So do it now before you get tilted with all your lineups blowing up within 5 minutes. So just get in there, use that promo code live before lock. I have a ton of Canning. I have a little bit of LeBlanc, which I don't really get how that occurred, but it did. And everything else here, I'm kind of hands off with Emac, maybe a little bit of Seattle just to try to hedge a little bit against the amount of Canning I have, which admittedly I am over the field on him by a bit because he really comes up a lot as an Urquhart pivot. What are you getting here, Emac?
A lot of Angels. I like them in this one. They're good against lefties. The Mariners we thought it was going to be, I'm forgetting his name, starts with C, guy who used to pitch for the Cubs. He's not opening today. It's going to be Matt Whistler, who is someone we're not going to play. He's going to go 1 inning. He's going to go about 20 to 25 pitches, but he is not as good as, what was it, Caratini, I think, was the Mariners guy. But then we're going to see LeBlanc. This will be the third time LeBlanc has faced the Angels. 3 of his 16 home runs have been given up to the Angels. On the flip side, 13 of his 55 strikeouts have come against the Angels. So your mileage may vary. Don't play him on the main slate. He is a late slate only play for me.
Yep, I think that's fair. And it looks like I'm looking at my lineups now with LeBlanc just to see how he possibly could have occurred. He's occurring in lineups where I have Texas stacks. So that's the reason why I'm getting LeBlanc. And I guess he's the natural pivot there, though. I think I might go to Musgrove in one of these. I definitely would rather have Musgrove than I don't like LeBlanc at all. not happy with this result one bit. All right, we got questions now. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Emac, you're working on your crunches. Where are you with that process? Do you have any results yet?
Nope, because I'm just putting in the pitchers, but I do like Griffin Canning, little spendy at 8,700, more of a late slate play for me. I did stream him on most of my season-long teams for this matchup today. He does have strikeout stuff in Seattle. while they have their moments, it's really down to Vogelbach and I didn't see. Let me go look here. Is Narvaez in the lineup? So Vogelbach, Narvaez, J.P. Crawford has some moments, but they're a secondary stack. I do like them on the late slate though, because I don't think as many people will go to them. But I'll play both sides of that one.
Okay. I think that's a reasonable approach, and I think that sort of covers it here. Yeah, Canning, I think the issue with Canning is that he comes up, he has a decent projection, and when you use randomness at pitcher as well, he's probably going to pop up a little more because he's one of those guys who has a projection which is not 2x value, which we talk about a lot here. Generally, you're trying to get a pitcher who's going to be around or above that 2x value if you could get it. And I think on this slate, let me just confirm this fact, but I'm pretty sure that Urquidy is the only guy. Yeah, Urquidy and Musgrove are the only guys over a 2x value, even including the higher priced pitchers. So you're going to probably get a lot of those guys if you're optimizing, and then you have to decide how much of them you're willing to ride with. And we talked about why we like Urquidy. Emax talked about why he liked Musgrove enough, and that's the reason why you might get Canning as well. Which not a great pitching slate, Emac.
No, it's truly not tonight.
All right, let's see if we got any updates on ownership or anything that's worthwhile. Okay. Oh, Ryan asking for a plug for the contest we're doing right now on the @awesome_com Twitter handle. So we'll do that real fast. And of course, put your questions in the chat. We'll get to all of them right after this. But right now, if you got a couple minutes to spare, or do it after lock if you want to, but go to the @awesome_com Twitter handle. Got a giveaway going right now. We're giving away 3 free months of Awesemo Plus. All you have to do, it's a long-term ticket here, but if you guess the Super Bowl winner of the year, you'll be able to win that free month contest, or the free 3 months rather, in this contest, a $210 value. So go check it out. We're actually giving away 2 of them as well. So your odds are getting slightly better there. People are already replying, but go in there, get in there now, because I guess you have better odds if you get in there now. That's just how odds work, I think. So go check it out now. It's the pinned tweet on the @awesemo_com Twitter handle. So go check that out right now and help Ryan out, because Ryan's one of the good guys out there who's on our social media team trying to make sure that you guys have stuff. And apparently we did get an ownership update, and Urquidy now above 60%.
Jesus.
We probably made a really compelling case on this show. That's the reason why.
All right. Well, I've got him set at 60. I'm not going higher than that. I'm fine with it. But that's sort of the tipping point where, with that many people with that much of a question mark, or that many people on him and he's that much of a question mark, I really don't see the need to get over on the rest of the field for that.
I would agree. Great price, though. Really great price. let's not ignore that. But yeah, that is a lot of Urquidy. And again, I feel good about having some Texas lineups. And if you are doing, I really do think if you're doing especially a max 150, but for me, a max 20, like, I think I want to have some exposure there going against Urquidy, because there is going to be really, I really don't like using semi-profanities on the show anymore because I don't want to get into trouble, but and a literal ass load, just too much Urquidy is out there today. And if you get a chance and he does blow up, that Texas lineup is going to be completely unowned as well for whatever reason. Nobody's thinking about leverage with Urquidy. They're just treating him like a lock. All right.
Hit the wrong button. That's never fun to do.
Tiffany Wilson asking, Ranger stack on FanDuel, good idea? Yes, it is. It's a little bit less valuable there, Tiffany, but it is a stack idea, because whenever you have a pitcher who's highly owned, who has a propensity to blow up or just a potential, and Urquidy on paper has given up hits. I mean, it does seem like he's been a bit unlucky. He's also been getting strikeouts. But if they do blow up, or if like Texas does blow him up rather, it's going to be a good day for you, because a lot of people will be on Urquidy, especially on Yahoo and DraftKings. So on FanDuel, a little bit less valuable, but still a decent move there, because he's going to be pretty well owned as well. Let's see.
Oh, crap. Somehow Ryan Yarborough's coming in on my crunches.
You probably don't want that. Matthew Protowell asking, would you go Musgrove, Lindor, and Springer, or Eflin, Segura, and Harper for a GPP?
First one.
I would also agree with the first one. Oh, good. I swear to God, Domino's always texts me an alert about ordering pizza during the show. I don't know what's going on, if there's some sort of thing I'm saying during the course of the show where it thinks I want pizza right now. It creeps me out. It always happens only when I do a show with you. I don't know why.
Only with me, really.
Yeah, only with you on a Saturday. It's like, hey, you're hanging out with your old pal Emac, right? He likes pizza. Let's have a little pizza party with Emac. Is Upton okay for DK Cash?
Yes. Against lefties, he got the night off. It was routine maintenance. I think he's decent.
I never like playing him against lefties. I guess if you're counting, the opener's a righty, right? I don't have that on my sheet.
Yes, he is.
So yeah, so if you get him in that first inning, I think it's good. But Upton has really bad splits versus lefties. He's got a 172 batting average, a 113 ISO, and a 51 WRC plus, as well as a 31% K rate. He's one of those guys who just bizarrely can't hit lefties at all. That's a 170 at bat sample size going back to last year. So maybe he's due to positively regress a little bit there, but it's enough of a size where he's just been really bad within the last year and change versus lefties. So I would avoid it. But if you catch him on a positive regression day, maybe he hits for the cycle versus lefty. Who knows? Fade Dominoes, I agree. Fade especially when bothering me during a show. Dominoes should know that I have a schedule that I need to adhere to. Chef McNatt, eating Dominoes now. I agree that they should probably, of course, Fax answers the only girl in YouTube chat. I answered the only question that was on top of the stream, Jay. So that's the reason why. If you have questions in the premium Slack, please drop them in there. And of course, if you are not a premium member, you do get access to that premium Slack with an Osmo Plus membership. So go check that out and get in there with that promo code live before lock for half off your first month. Also, we need to support women. There's a special place in hell for women who don't support women, Jay. And I'm a woman who supports women. All right.
You're a woman that supports women? Nice.
Yes. That's
somebody clip that, Brett. If you're watching, please. That's
I said it deliberately. It's not like it's just a joke.
No. We're losing all context here, and we're gonna put.
We all know I'm the manliest one on this channel. We all say that about me behind my back. It's like, look at that masculine guy hosting that show. What a bro. Paul Blackburn of the night. Actually, here, Raj is asking Marwin or Reddick as a cheap punt.
Reddick.
Yeah, I'd favor Reddick as well. SJM26B asking Harper or Rhys Hoskins for cash.
God, I hate to say it, but Harper.
Yeah, the ownership's going to be on Harper, 12% compared to 4% on DK. Though I think SJM might be a FanDuel guy, but I would still favor Harper, even though he's not going to give you any sort of floor with walks. Really, neither is Hoskins. Hoskins actually has a worse on-base percentage than Harper. So, and batting average and WRC plus. Yeah, all right, yeah, Harper it is for me as well. Paul Blackburn of the night. Our Paul McCott is asking, of course, the Paul Blackburn Award goes to the cheapest, worst pitcher who may find his way into a tournament-winning lineup. Emac, who would that be for you today?
Musgrove.
I'm going to say Tom Eshelman just because I know he's really bad, but if he's somehow leveraged on the chalky Boston stack that just looks good and impossible to fail at 4,400, then who knows? Maybe he's due to positive regress. So he would be the guy. Point to chat. Good. Okay. Chat's worthless right now on YouTube. And all right, we're about 1 minute from lock, guys. So get it in now. If you're finishing your lineups like Emac is, scramble, get it done. Bellinger or Bogarts? Which of those two is more appealing to you, Emac?
Bellinger. Less ownership.
Yeah, for tournaments, I would say probably Bellinger, but overall, I would say Bogarts. And Bogarts, for what it's worth, is the lowest owned part of that Boston stack. It looks like out of the top four. So,
God, it's gonna be close. Hitting upload, please no red, please no red.
I think you're gonna be good.
I made it. Oh Jesus.
Yeah. New game, take a drink when Spags has positively regressed. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing when you have a longer term sample size and one for just the year. Sometimes guys who jump out have been trying to pay more attention to it because there are some guys where the numbers are close, but it just like the guys just due for good luck, and that's you got to try to kind of account for that, even though that's not the thing. Oh, Sean V pro Eshelman. It looks like Eshelman is pitching for his spot tonight. A poor game, and he loses his spot. I don't think that'll overcome.
He's not going to lose his spot. There are no spots left. There are no people left to take spots.
Yeah, they don't want to eat up service time of their good arms, I believe. Is the thing,
with
right?
Bundy on the injured list. All right, here's my numbers. We're at lock. Urquidy 63, Kershaw 40, Musgrove 27, Castillo 21, Greinke 17, Canning 12. God, somehow Rick Porcello. There's, I guess, your who's our guy of the night? Who's our crappy pitcher? I was gonna say
for me, it's Eshelman. But Porcello definitely in the mix.
No, but what does he call him? Oh, the Paul Blackburn of the night.
Yes, the Paul Blackburn. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. I got 2 lineups with Eflin. I've got 21 with Nicholas. Robinson Chirinos, my top catcher. Somehow Jacob Stallings went in there, but I want to try to get some Pittsburgh guys. Josh Bell only on 11% of my lineups. I'm very sad about that. Joey Votto's on 20. The price just puts him in there. Kipnis is on 20%. He's batting cleanup for the love of God. Let's take our slumpingest hitter. That's not even a word. Let's take our coldest hitter and put them in the cleanup
Slumping
spot.
I think is fair. I think it's not really a word, but it's like a fake word because slumping is not really a word either. I guess it is, but whatever. Not in that context.
Josh Van Meter only ended up on 7% of my lineups. Surprised.
Oh. Your Van Meter is low today.
Oh, I see what you did there. Francisco Lindor on 40% though.
I like that pick. He was actually close to be my dong pick, just despite Sean V and his saying that Junis isn't going to give up home runs. But yeah, I think that's a strong pick there. I like
JD Martinez, 41.
All right. Hey, we'll both be happy if he's home runs today. That's
Oh,
good.
yes, I'm rooting for you today for sure, my friend. Mookie Betts, 40. So I really couldn't decide apparently there. Trout, 20. Bowers, 19. Jackie Bradley, 18. Benintendi, 17. Obviously, I'm trying to get as much of Boston as I can. Brian Reynolds popped up there at 13. Dickerson, 11. Marte at 11. I feel like I don't, or Marte at 9. I feel like I don't have enough of the guys I really wanted there for Pittsburgh. Colin Moran, I only have 6%, but there was a lot of good first basemen. I mean, Devers is, how do you not play him? And then you've got Ramirez in a good spot. Then it's Bregman. And so we're talking all-stars here. Then I've got Eugenio Suarez for 10 because, you know what? Why not?
Hey, I agree. That is the baseball savant Jake Hari's favorite player / the snack Jake Hari. I don't want to mix up his nicknames here, but that is a strong play. Sounds like you got a good mix in there. And I think we got all the questions. Nothing good right here. So hit that like button before you go. Obviously, we've been here for you guys. We're here on Saturdays. Emac busted his butt all weekend long trying to give you guys quality content on this YouTube channel and on the site. So please hit that like button before you go and go about your activities, go about your tilting or your actual life social activities. Emac, what's your schedule the rest of the weekend? What are you doing?
Office hours, 3 o'clock. We do have some 4 o'clock games, so that will be fun. We do have a 3 o'clock start for NASCAR tomorrow. We have a free article on the homepage there. And then we have driver popularity and driver projections, which are very good. You have Alex's rankings. This will be an intriguing race. We've had a nice little run of Saturday night races, but we're back on the Sunday grind. And I am forgetting where this race is at. Let's look at that real quick. ESPN NASCAR schedule.
Also, by the way, Tiffany Wilson in the chat saying, talking to the guys who were trolling her about not being a woman. She and her husband are on here every day, so we're bringing people together.
Yeah, they both play decent. They both play decent volume. And how fun would it be to have your significant other as interested in this as we are? That would be.
Could you imagine if she just critiqued all your picks?
No, that would be CJ Kaltenbach and CJ Kaltenbach's mom.
Oh, yeah, I'm not in that whole world, but some people like coming in the chat and really shit talking old Siege, and I have no dog in that race.
Yes, I actually got to meet and hang out with CJ prior to him being a tout. He is a fun guy. I hang out with him at most of the events that we're at together. He's a good guy. He sets himself up and takes a boatload of crap on Twitter, but he brings it on himself, and I keep telling him that. I'm like, dude. The homerism. Let's bring the homerism down a little bit. But if you need yard care, go check out Arbor Pro.
Yeah, I think the chest puffing too. I feel like this, not him in particular, but I feel like that's always a thing that people tend to really go against those people hard whenever there's any sort of chinks in the armor, so to speak. And
all right, so we're at New Hampshire for this race. Keselowski, the Busch brothers are decent here. I don't know if they've done qualifying yet or not. I do like Kyle Larson. He is not. He likes to run the high line. I'm blanking on if this is a high line track or not, but he's someone I think we can consider. And then Paul Menard, usually a decent cash game play. So I'll have to check that out. I will post tonight. I'll post some $1 head-to-heads on DK. Grab them, have some fun. Last weekend I went 20-0 in my $1 head-to-heads. That was nice. I had a 0.2% lineup. So it was last week. Racing was very, very good to me. Very, very good.
That's fancy boy, Emac. And then show-wise, you're doing what tomorrow?
We're doing noon for our show. It will be myself and Josh Engelman. Let's quickly call up that schedule. So let's give everybody a brief little sneak peek on that one. We've got I'll put out spotlight hitters and stacks. I'm gonna go eat dinner and then I'll write that article. But we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games. No 3 o'clock games today. Nobody in Texas or Arlington. Nobody in Colorado. So 10 games on that early slate. We'll have all the lineups. We won't be waiting around for those. And then we have 4 o'clock games. And then Washington and Atlanta is your Sunday night game. We've got some intriguing pitching options here and there. But it's going to be another day where it's hot. and we were going to have Anthony Desclafani in our life, Vince Velasquez, Daniel Mangden, Michael Pineda, Andrew Kashner, Asher Wojciechowski. That's all you need to say, Sean V. Asher Wojciechowski. That's why Eshelman is not pitching for his spot in the rotation, because Wojciechowski has a spot in the rotation. So there we go. It'll be a fun one again tomorrow. And then what do we do with German Marquez in New York, where it's going to be?
For the record, Asher's not that bad. He actually kind of held his own that last game there. And I'm saying this as Eshelman, by the way. I see a tweet: retired the side in order on 11 pitches in that first inning. So it's
now he's gonna get blowed up, son. He gonna get blowed up.
Just don't do it to JD. that's gonna be problematic. But yeah, Wojciechowski, I forget how you Wojciechowski, right?
Yes.
Good swinging strike rate. I feel like he's due for at least maybe less terrible days in the future. And he kind of hung in there that last spot. I feel like, who was that against? I forget who they played earlier this week. Washington maybe. And kind of hung in. And he just got a couple warning track shots, but for the most part, I was kind of impressed. He might be the new John Means for me, where I'll just tout him incoherently.
He's an adequate swing man. You get nervous when he's in the rotation, but if he pops in there for 10 starts a year, you're not going to hate it.
Kevin Drayton, thanks, fellas. You guys definitely get a thumbs up for me. Thank you. Also, if you got,
we never asked for thumbs up, John or Chris. Sorry,
we did. I did while you were, I think, finishing your crunches. Yeah, don't worry. I do all my plugs and solicitation.
I was in the zone. I was not hearing anything at that point, waiting to see if they were going to crap out on me.
Also, if you're watching UFC tonight, go on there. Josh has some content up for the MMA slate tonight. Got some good tournaments out there for UFC. We have ownership projections as well, regular projections. So go check that out on the site right now. If you're a premium member, if you're not a premium member, use that promo code live before lock for half off your first month. And that's it for us today, guys. So go watch Emac on the channel tomorrow. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know whenever he goes live with Josh. He'll be here helping you guys with all the stuff that you need to know tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday with the Four Corners video, so keep an eye out for that as well. Of course, the short form video I do on the channel. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. Go follow your old pal Emac at Emac DFS on Twitter. Are you on Instagram?
No, I'm not on. Well, technically I am, because I wanted to see some pictures of my friends back in Washington's kids, and they're not on Facebook now. So yeah, no. So technically, no, I'm not on. I don't. I checked it like 2 months ago, and that was it.
So go follow Emac on Instagram. Look for all the big butt girls he's following on there. And,
yes, I am on Twitter. I do have fun with Twitter, so you can hit me up there. And then Premium Slack. I've got. It's like a bunch of our people are at work today because they're asking me 1v1 questions. It's like, guys, I'm on air. I can't answer these. I'm sorry. But office hours 3:00 tomorrow. We'll have some fun with that. It's an intriguing late slate for 4:00 games, so that'll be something to work with. We do lineup construction, how to utilize Fantasy Cruncher, how to look at leverage with our popularity projections, and all that good stuff. So it's a lot of fun. But we are going to get on out of here because Chris needs to, I don't know, puff, puff, pass and order some Taco Bell. I'm going to go make some tacos, actually, and let's get on out of here. So with that, gamers, good luck.
Hi, guys.